Hey guys, I just want to give you guys a quick update on some of the progress that I'm making on the blade. Let's see, basically over the past 2 weeks I've just been doing a lot of sanding on the whole car and just covering all of the surfaces, making sure that everything's real smooth and everything's flat and all the lines are straight and symmetrical between the two sides. And just really, getting into it deep with the sanding, basically. Kind of dealing with all the low spots. I have a bunch of low spots in certain places I have to come back and fill in, and there's a lot of that. I had to rework the door area to match the other side a little better. So that's some of the things I've been doing. The wheel arches I've been dealing with, refining those, make sure that they match on each side. Just some of the smaller detailed stuff, and it's coming along pretty good. Just making a lot of dust. As you can see, my whole garage is covered in dust, and I've had to cover my clay, all my clay work and everything, to make sure it doesn't get contaminated with the dust from the body filler and everything. But yeah, that's basically it. Just doing a lot of it by hand. I have some power tools that I'm using. I love this block. That's probably the one thing I've been using the most. I have a longer one, a couple different sizes, but that I use a lot, and I use that to do all the flat surfaces like the door. This one I use to break down something really quickly. So if I have a real high spot, I use this to knock it down quick. This I've been using to do some detailed sanding, like some of the corner areas here. Works good for that. That whole area I need to fill in, so you'll probably see that, but it's got to be reworked. And then I have the straight line sander, which is kind of my worst enemy on this. I like using it when it's working, but it tends to stop a lot. So in the middle of me working it, it just stops, and it's not clogged or anything. There's not like a bunch of sand or dust inside the rail, and it stays pretty clean. I do keep it lubricated. I've tried various different types of oils, from light oils to heavy oils to synthetic and all that, to make sure that it stays working smoothly internally. But it still just locks up. I don't really know what the deal is. Maybe you guys have some tips on how to make some of these air tools work better, because I always have a hard time with it. Maybe it's my air compressor or something, I don't know. I have a pretty big air compressor, and I think it's just a single stage, so it's nothing fancy. And then I have a dryer behind all that. I have 2 dryers actually, and that keeps the line pretty dry. I don't have any water spitting out of it or anything, so it seems to be a pretty clean line. I don't use an inline oiler, so maybe that's what part of the issue, but I've always been told never to use the inline oilers, because if I ever want to use that to paint with, then I'll have to swap out my lines and clean everything and all that. But I don't know. So, and I don't like oil spitting all over the car either, so that's the main reason why people tell me not to bother with it. So to run a rather dry system and oil the part, manually, I guess. So I don't know, but let me know if you have any tips on how to work your air tools a little better, or make them perform better. I'm running at 90 to 125 psi. Just kind of depends on what seems to work the best. The air compressor can keep it at 120 psi pretty easy, so I don't have a problem with that. I am about to move that whole air compressor setup outside into a soundproof closet. So I'm tired of it being in here. It's too loud, so I'd rather put it outside and build a little shed for it, so that it's nice and quiet and has its own little area. I could put some other things out there too, but anyway, yeah, so that's basically it. Just been sanding everywhere on the car. Still trying to figure out if I'm going to do what I was talking about in the other videos by sealing up these vents or not. I've been working the vents so much now that they're really starting to turn out really well, getting it ready to mold, and now I'm like, God, do I really want to, you know, patch over it or whatever, like I was talking about. So, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you just now seen this video, you have to go back like 3 videos to 3 or 4 maybe to see what I'm referring to, but I don't want to get into it because I've talked about it too much. Still have a lot of work to do on the hood. There's a lot of low spots, and really the hood I haven't worked at all, so it's pretty much just raw fiberglass underneath the primer coat that's on there. So I'll need to work that and make it nice and smooth and everything. The front end I've been working. The whole back end of the car is coming along pretty good, and I working all the lines on the car, making sure that everything is looking good and symmetrical from the front. So when you look at it from the front of the car, both sides should look really good and look the same, and all that. You can see all my little feet print. I'm still Bubba barefooting it everywhere, so some things never change. Yeah, so that and this right here, I'm doing working this up and been sculpting this recessed area on the hood, getting it looking pretty nice. Still a lot of dust everywhere, look at that. And that's essentially all that I've been doing for the past week and a half or so, 2 weeks. Just doing a lot of sanding and stuff like that. Pulled my tires out so I could get into the wheel wells a little. And in case you're wondering, that's a 335 by 30 tire that's going to fit nicely up inside the wheel wells, which will look pretty mean on a smaller car like this. These are tires I pulled off of a Lamborghini, and that was racing. And I think these are either 18s or 19s. I'm not really sure, but the car will be able to have 18 or 19-inch wheels if you need to run that. But you probably even go to 20 maybe, I don't know. I think 18, 19 is all you need on a car like this. It's too small for 20-inch wheels, and anything bigger than probably a 19-inch. Yeah, so that's basically it. Like I said, I got tons of dust everywhere and got my clay protected, and going to do some more sanding and try to get this finished up over the next week or so, and start working down to a finer grit sandpaper. Right now I'm still at the 40 and 80 grit level, and mostly on 40 just to get everything shaped, and then I'll knock it down to 80 to start finalizing the body panels and doors and everything else, and then I'll start stepping down from that, or up, or whatever you want to call it, going up to a finer sandpaper. And then the idea will be to paint the car in a primer, and then I'll sand that primer down to where it's nice and smooth. There won't be a need to paint the car because I'm just going to be pulling molds off of it. But it's getting close, so I'm excited. And that's about it. So just want to give you guys an update, and I'll let you know in the next video what else has changed and how much further I've gotten. So hopefully I'll be finished up with the majority of the sanding by then, and finally make a decision on that. So I still have a lot of materials to order for the molding stuff. Trying to get all the proper tools and everything. It's getting expensive though, good God. It's crazy. So yeah, so that's it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.